Hi all, Robert Mantell here again with the Trichotillomania Relief Specialists. You know, for some time we've been known for making some rather outrageous claims about what we're able to do for our clients here at the TRS. In a universe of trichotillomania programs that at best offer time-consuming and convoluted forms of symptom management, not even a cure, just symptom management, we here at the TRS talk about a relatively straightforward solution. A disarmingly simple two-tier program, that's all, just two things, that empower most clients to realize far greater control over their pulling than most had ever experienced before that. You've heard us say it before, 4 out of 5 of our clients find they're able to stop pulling after just their very first session with us. And 100% of our clients, there are no exceptions, discover a level of control over their pulling activity in just that very same first session with us that most never realized they had before. Now, have you ever heard anybody else make these kinds of claims about their work with trichotillomania? Do you know anybody that could? Probably not. And if not, why not? Well, it's very simple. Virtually everybody else, even specialists in this field, are really just doing variations of the same thing. And what is that same thing? Well, probably some form of cognitive behavioral therapy. In other words, pretty much all the stuff you've been doing until now. You know, journaling, keeping records of the times and dates of your pulling activity, talk therapy to help you discover and understand your triggers, using stress balls, practice redirecting your urges, using sensory substitutes, and that kind of thing. And then there's some newer approaches like habit reversal therapy, the comprehensive behavioral model, acceptance and commitment therapy, and things like this. Among the mental health establishment, these are considered the current state-of-the-art in trichotillomania treatment. These are the evidence-based interventions that most conventional therapists, at least those who are trained in it, are likely to use. But you see, even these really up-to-date forms of CBT are just outgrowths and branches off of what came before it. They represent improvements on previous models, but really only on the scale of mere percentage points relative to what came before them. Then we come along and we claim we have something here that's at least 10 times quicker, easier, faster, simpler, and more effective than anything else we've ever heard of. And that's a heck of a claim to make, isn't it? I mean, what makes us so special? Are we geniuses or something? No, we're not. We're smart, but we're probably not geniuses. But you see, you don't need to be a genius to think up a coaching model that's just totally new and different. You just need to start with a blank page. I want to tell you a story. In 1943, Lockheed's chief engineer was a fellow by the name of Clarence Johnson. Now, one day this man received a phone call from the U.S. Department of Defense. And the idea is, German jet fighters had just appeared over Europe and America needed something to match them. And at the time, we didn't have anything like that. And it was crucially important, you know, they needed to get something out there to deal with those German jet fighters like yesterday. So Clarence had an idea. What he did was to gather up a small group of the best and brightest engineers, designers, and mechanics at Lockheed. And what he did was he gave them total design freedom. No idea was too weird or too wild. And then he separated this group from everyone else at the company. He effectively walled them off from the outdated bureaucracy of age-old thinking and had them start fresh with a brand new page, a completely blank canvas, so to speak. Now, this turned out to be such a stroke of genius that the U.S. first military jet was delivered to the Pentagon just 143 days later. That was an incredibly short period of time. You know, in a typical military project, with all the bureaucratic red tape that comes with the highly entrenched ways of doing things, contractors normally couldn't even get their paperwork signed in that kind of time. Yet in the years to come, Lockheed's Skunkworks, as it came to be known, cranked out innovation after innovation after innovation that led to some of the world's most well-known military aircraft, including the U-2, the SR-71 Blackbird, the Nighthawk, the Raptor, and so forth. See, that's the power of novel thinking, of thinking totally outside the box. Now, Glei and I, even though we do have a strong background in traditional therapy, we both went to school for it and that kind of thing. You see, but that's not what we started with when we started our private practice back in the year 2000. What happened was, way back in the late 90s, we had begun studying a powerful evolution and personal change work known as Neuro-Linguistic Programming, or NLP for short. Anthony Robbins, you might have heard of him, is probably the world's best-known practitioner and proponent of NLP, and using these tools in front of a broad audience is really what got him famous. Earlier on, Tony had studied NLP with its co-founder, a man named John Grinder, who at the time was a linguistics professor at UC Santa Cruz. So Tony used to go on television and literally challenge therapists to give him their worst patient. Maybe somebody with a knockdown, drag-out phobia that just seemed to defy treatment any other way. And what happened was these people would come in and he'd use these really powerful tools to literally knock out these phobias in like 10 minutes right there on live television. And at the time, nobody had really seen anything like that before. Now, when I heard about this, that certainly got my attention. I thought to myself, here I am studying traditional therapy, and that's all well and good, except that my clients keep coming back to me week after week after week. But gee, what kind of a rush would it be to help people knock out even lifelong phobias in a single session, like Tony was doing? How cool would that be? I shared all this with Glei, who's now my wife and coaching partner here at the TRS. And we both set about studying NLP and becoming really good at it. In fact, we're now both certified as master practitioners of NLP, and I personally am certified as a trainer of NLP, which means I'm qualified to actually teach it and to certify others as practitioners and master practitioners. So in the year 2000, this is 16 years ago now, we started this company called BrightLife Phobia and Anxiety Relief Center. And people started visiting us from all over the country and many parts of the world. And then within fairly short order, I'd say less than a year, our work was so remarkable, we were invited to appear on the Discovery Health Channel, where I came on and helped free a woman from an intense 20-year phobia in about 15 minutes, right there in front of the cameras. And that's what got us on the map originally. Since that time, we've seen many hundreds of people from all over the world, probably into the thousands by now. And we've probably seen just about every color, hue, and expression of anxiety and related behavior problems. And I'm pretty sure some you've never even heard of before. But you see, that was our training ground. And it wasn't only NLP we were working with. There were a lot of other really powerful modalities that not a lot of other people who were working with anxiety were practicing at the time. And because we did, that very much enhanced the power, speed, and simplicity of our work. It allowed us to be even more flexible with our clients in terms of finding creative ways to help meet their needs. So now let's fast forward to 2005. That's the year we had our first TRICH client referred to us. So it's been well over 10 years now. And I got to tell you, for anyone else who'd not had the extensive background with anxiety we had, this particular client probably would have been trial by fire. This first trichotillomania client, her name is Brianna, was 15 years old at the time and had been pulling since she was 5. Okay, that's 10 years of this already. And her family had taken her everywhere. They'd been to at least half a dozen different therapists and treatment centers, including the Mayo Clinic, all to no avail. Everyone else was throwing up their hands and saying, "We don't know what to do with you." Anyway, this young lady's mother was eventually referred to us by some folks who had earlier on had some great success with us with entirely different issues. So this woman flies out here to Southern California with her daughter Brianna and the rest of her family, and long story short, everything turned out just fine. In fact, Glei and I had such a blast doing it, we had such a fantastic result, we decided virtually then and there to create a division of BrightLife that you now know as the Trichotillomania Relief Specialists. And the rest is history. We've been doing this work now with trichotillomania almost exclusively for more than 10 years. The takeaway from all this is, you see, we approached our work with this very first trichotillomania client from a completely different point of view than most people, even specialists in the field, would have. We basically started with this proverbial blank page we've been talking about and built a powerful coaching paradigm literally from the ground up. But we weren't really totally starting from scratch, of course. By that time, we'd already had a tremendous amount of experience working with all kinds of anxiety-related problems, folks that everyone else had pretty much given up on. And when it came to applying this vast pool of experience and insight to trichotillomania, the answers came to us pretty quickly, and it had nothing to do with the status quo in conventional mental health. Our approach really came totally out of left field. It was then, and of course continues to be, completely unique and different. At our website, we say that we've literally rethought the entire paradigm for trichotillomania care from the ground up, and that's really what we've done. So when I make the claim that I believe our work is at least 10 times easier, quicker, faster, simpler than anything else that's out there, at least that we know of, that's not just an idle claim. You know, people think that going 10 times bigger or better than anything else that's been done before, like a moonshot, has to be 10 times harder. But you see, the fact is, it's often even easier to go that much bigger than to stay the same or similar. Why? Because if you're trying to make something just a little better, or say 10% better, you're almost by necessity signing up for the status quo and trying to build on that. And that, of course, means you have to start with the status quo. And as you know, that's not at all what Glei and I did. We started on a brand new page, and like I said, we came at this thing from an entirely different angle, and that's why our approach is so different from anyone else's that we know of, and I'm sure that explains what we believe is an industry unheard of level of success for our clients, and not just success, but the speed with which most clients experience that success. So now, like all the other videos and written blog articles we've posted, my purpose in sharing all this with you is to help inspire you, to get you excited about what can indeed be possible for you no matter how many times you've tried and failed to conquer your challenge with trichotillomania, and especially if what you've been doing so far is just more of the same. Remember, the past does not equal the future. Whatever you tried in the past, that by the way, chances are is totally different from what we're doing over here, has nothing at all to do with your potential for success when you try something totally new and different. So if you're searching for answers and you don't know where else to turn, we may have what you've been looking for. Feel free to give us a call and let us know how we can help. Meantime, you can also leave your comments, questions, or suggestions wherever you may be watching this video. If you're watching at our Facebook community page, that's probably really the best place for you to leave your comments and questions, because I think that's where there's the greatest potential for engagement with others. And we like that. We want to encourage engagement and conversation whenever possible. If you're watching this video at our blog site, feel free to leave your comments and questions there as well. You can do the same thing at our YouTube channel. And by the way, we'd love it if you'd be good enough to like and share our videos with others. And then you can always visit us at our website at TRICH-FREE.com. There's lots of good information there, more about what we do and how we do it, and lots of ways to contact us at our website. If you're interested, there's a bunch of success stories over there from clients who've already experienced the kind of life-changing breakthroughs we keep talking about. So feel free to head on over there and check that out. Thank you so much again for watching. I'm Robert Mantell. I hope you have an amazing trick-free week.